Well, that might be slightly early because practice hasn't quite just finished yet. I think we've got a couple of seconds. But hello and welcome to round number 6 of the Andy Still Racing TCR series. We're past the halfway point now. We're here and we're into Europe and we're in Germany for round number 6 at the new circuit here on iRacing, or the Oschersleben circuit. A track that is definitely a proper touring car circuit, so I can't wait to see. We will be joined by Paulo shortly in qualifying, I'm sure, as they are starting now. But yeah, Oschersleben, a proper touring car circuit. We're not using the one with the very, very tight first chicane. It's a little bit more open. Should still be good. As they start calling you fire, you see them all right now filing out the pit lane. I think only one car hasn't. Just before they all get their first times in, we will show you the championship standings heading in to round number 6. This is provisional, I still believe, but I think everything should be sorted now. But I do believe, if they're not completely correct, I think they are provisional time completely released. But Brandon is at the top of the standings. We ignore him for a little bit, but the rest of the grid are very close. It's very close for second. As you can see, 1 point between second and third. Steve just up into fourth after Marcelo had a bad time out last time at Lion Rock Park. We got a joint in P6, and of course very close behind. P8 is 1 point off them, and the lower tables into the top 10, all very, very close. Lots of drivers climbing the order, including Robert, which got his first win last time out there in P9. So a lot of movement in the table, and I think they should be some great racing at a proper touring car circuit, which is always what we want. Next time out we are, I think, Brands Hatch, which is another proper touring car one. But we continue on the calendar of completely different circuits every week, which is great. It is different. Each week we're at a different type of track, and this one isn't like any of the others that we've done so far this season. Get into qualifying, of course, 15 minutes of qualifying, followed by 2 races of 15, and the second one is a reverse grid, with the top 8 being swapped around. We now have ball cars. I think Aiden has just joined, and what was that story from the steward race control there, Andy? I believe he said, I drove this track today. It was a good 9 seconds off. Now, who are you 9 seconds off of? Are you 9 seconds off of Brandon, or are you 9 seconds off of just actually the whole field? Because is that because you don't drive these cars, or is it, well, maybe it is a circuit, of course, a little bit lower on the attendance today because the circuit, of course, has only just come out. Well, last season I believe it came out, so it's quite recent compared to some of the rest, but we still have a good grid. I think it will be 16 with Aiden just joining us. Watch Marcelo cross the line as they should be now. I think Marcelo's just started his lap. Maybe we can go on board with him for a lap there as Brandon's to our right. An interesting first 2 turns. They sort of go into one. It's a very long second turn. Very, very long. Very annoying in these cars, of course, as they're lots of understeer. Nice 6 seconds off of Brandon, which isn't the worst thing in the world, to be honest, because he is very, very quick. But yeah, lots of long flowing corners around this circuit, and on these front wheel drive cars that can be quite an annoyance, but hopefully not too much of an annoyance for these drivers. I've pressed the wrong button, that's why my screen's going to light up. Fast through there, a little bit more of a chicane here. That corner's a bit more of just a straight one. Another long wait, patient corner. There we go, on the throttle we go. Now into a very quick chicane. Throw it through here, bang, big curb, that's fine. A little bit of a long one again, patient corner, patient corner. All about the momentum in these cars. Use all of the curb and a bit more, not onto the grass. We've got another quick little chicane here. This time the left hand is the long part. Here we go, into the right. A little bit of a long left. Again, not too much curb there, lots of curb from Marcelo though. And 2 little kink rights here, which we won't see much passing into the last 2 corners. I do expect most of the overtaking to come in the first sector and maybe at some of the chicanes, but reprimand for 427 for missing the driver's briefing, but it's fine as they all put in their first laps times. Everybody ends up. Who's gone top then? Marcelo has gone top for now on the lap we're on board with, but yeah, that's turn there. There are a couple of very, very long patient corners where you have to wait to get on the throttle. Can be quite annoying, but momentum in this car is a big thing. Loads more braking zones than there was last time out in Lion Rock. There was only one real big braking zone. There's a few here. First 2 turns, this corner here, turn 3. The chicanes each are a bit of a tough one as somebody's sliding off. It may be Brandon because he's definitely offline there. That's behind. Massimo is going quicker at the moment in the middle sector. Here's the comeback. You see a little bit of connection thing on the stream, a little thing that is just straight up by iRacing as Stefano goes pole and then beaten by Massimo in the end by another 4. So 11 cars now put a time in as they're all going a bit quicker and quicker. Marco goes pole for now, only just long straight at the is on Dakota line. Look at that, very, very long straight. August sun, but definitely longer than most of the straights we had last time out. Steve is apparently going quicker. Some purples. He crosses the line. His time probably didn't look like it counted as he stays there. Got good podium last time out in race 1. With the change of the livery, looks a bit quicker. Paulo goes P10. The movement around it will be 16 cars, it seems, as Marcelo improves again and goes up the pole once more. He had a real horrid time out last time. Looking to improve on that. Aiden, after missing the briefing, does get of his first lap and he goes P12. Slides the rear end, slides the rear end. He's gone, he's gone. They find the wall. Bang! A lot of cars been doing that, I can tell you now, in practice, because these are difficult on the brakes in the rear. And you want to carry as much speed as you can possibly in. And yep, it happens from time to time. Robert then. Hello, Paulo. Haven't missed too much. Only the first couple of minutes of qualifying. But this is brilliant circuit, which of course you don't have, but we've had a discussion before about the fact that we both actually I just realised that I will double check which voice note you're coming out of on the stream. But yeah, we both talked about this circuit because we've both driven it on Project Cars too, haven't we?
I really enjoyed it. I even tried to do some drifting on it. There are some drift cars to it, and it was fun to do that. I do like it. But you know, I still never bought it here on everything because it's not a series that's gonna run here for sure. Maybe IMSA, but even so, it just depends on what cars are gonna drive here. But it's nice to see new tracks, even not just FIA Grade 1 tracks, you know, on iRacing. There's variety of club tracks and stuff.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. That's the first turn there, everyone locking their rear brakes and sliding off. I think we're going to be seeing that a lot today, as we've now seen it 3 times within 7 minutes. Brandon now comes to the line, get his first time on the board. Does it count? It looks like it doesn't, to be honest with you. So maybe he's finding some off track somewhere along around here. Andy agrees that he's pretty certain that IMSA did drive here last season. Yeah, Touring Cars, of course, did because it was first time it was in on the sim. I don't think they are going to it next season or I can't remember if they have or not this season, but I like the look of it. I thought it was a perfect touring car track from back when I used to drive it, so it's in the calendar for this season.
Well, IMSA always has the new tracks on the first season, you know. Not usually not the European series, but IMSA at least it goes to the weirdest tracks on the first time they appear. Sometimes it fits, some tracks it's strange. Like now in Monaco, I now kind of forget how the last tracks that appeared in iRacing, but every time a new track appears, it's gonna be on IMSA, guaranteed. Oh yeah, Knockhill.
Knockhill, yes, Knockhill. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you there because that is a strap touring car circuit if I've ever had one in my life. Definitely not a endurance IMSA. I can tell you that now. That is crazy that they did that, but yeah, did not fit that tyre criteria at all, did it? But it's a brilliant circuit for touring cars and like Formula V's and Formula 3s and stuff like that. Even Rallycross. Really yeah, very good. A very difficult Rallycross circuit there. Very bumpy. Mitt. Solo continues to improve. There's lots of improvements around here. So the fact that it's a circuit that not many people go to, it seems like it's going to be a tight race today. As I say that, Brandon's going purple, purple, purple. Somebody else is just slightly beating him in one of the sectors. What does Brandon do? Finally, he gets on the board and it does go 5 tenths quicker than anybody else. But it took him a while to get the lap in. But even then, it is a very close field at the looks of it. We've still got a few minutes to go here in qualifying. But yeah, it's great to see that a track where it's limited the numbers down to 16 from the average of around 20 this season, but the field are almost closer because of the circuit, not everybody driving on it. There was a 2-hour practice as well earlier, just before this half an hour practice and then qualifying. So there has been opportunities for them to do some running, but not as much running as they would have done on, for example, Lime Rock. as a circuit that everybody has, and everyone's driven probably for many years. Stefano goes P2. Yeah, I think the big major points of this circuit will be the first couple of corners. Lots of few chicanes. I said, as I was saying when I went on board with Marcelo Paulo, that there's a lot of late apex, very like patient corners where you just got to wait to accelerate.
Isn't there like it's a lot of double apexes too, right?
Yeah, yeah, a lot. I can pop up the track map just in the top right. We can have a look at it.
Also, I just noticed today that we have the overlay.
Yes, we fixed it. We fixed it today. We managed to it was I just reset something apparently. I managed to get it to work as soon as I stopped the stream, by the way. But thanks to Gerard, managed to work out exactly what the issue was, and yeah, all fixed now and all nice, and I can actually see the information I need to see this week, so I'm a little bit easier than Lion Rock, but yeah.
So yeah, as you can see, like it's not exactly long corners; it's more like double apex corners. Because you have still like a part on the corner that you go straight instead of just keep going turning.
Yeah.
It's like a long kind of corners here on this track, but we see how it promotes retro racing on touring cars. It is a popular track for touring cars, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it is. I think it's a very good circuit for touring cars. It's one of those that fits the criteria of the car well. When I've done racing on it, it's been brilliant. I've only just brought the circuit on iRacing just for this, but if TCR go there again in on the actual series, I definitely will race it because I think it's a brilliant little circuit, and yeah, close racing all around because of that, because of the nature of the circuit. I think Steve's going slightly better than themselves, but yeah, last two corners pretty simple ones, but it's a few major overtaking points. I'd say it's probably turns 1 and 2 and 3. You can give it a go into turn 6, the little sort of chicane into the hairpin. You can give it a go there if you get a good run. So, should be good for passing. 2 races of 15 minutes should be good. The reverse grid, as always, will be great. I think turn 1, interesting one. It's not a tight turn, so it should get away with it. But I see, as we've been seeing a lot of issues with people braking, we never know what might happen in turn 1.
At least it's not the horrible turn 1 that we see. With that, driving straight on and just a lot of crash.
Yes. Yeah, that one would have been, I think, chaotic. You can see the output. There's somewhere. It's somewhere to our left there is the actual, that one. It's quite crazy to do.
It is.
Absolutely 90-degree right-hander. I don't think that would work in these cars. The understeer you'd get be very crazy.
I love how iRacing still scanned it, still mapped it.
Yeah, they still mapped it. It's still in. We can use it if we want to.
Yeah. It's still a layout that exists.
Absolutely nuts. Yeah, you can just see.
There are short configurations of this track, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just because, this track does seem like it's big one for even touring cars, but it's also good to have many corners, just not just completely short tracks on the touring car series.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because last week we were at Lion Rock, which did have too many corners, and that was under a minute. Now, of course, we're here with about a 1.5 minute lap time and a lot more corners than Lion Rock. Of course, we went to Long Beach as well. There's a few corners. We've been to a lot of different circuits this season, haven't we? Now it's
a lot of variety.
Yeah, massive amount. What we've been to Long Beach, Silverstone International. That was quite a big one. Then we were at Sebring Club, which is quite short compared. A proper touring car circuit in Alton Park as well. We've got loads of different circuits yet still to come, including the new circuit that was added that was free from Sweden. That Swedish circuit, which has a lot of elevation. That, of course, we drove on the Toyotas.
Yeah,
yes, so we got that circuit.
I think even
as well.
IMSA went there. IMSA went there, I think, as well.
Oh, did they? Of course.
Yeah, of course they did.
Of course they did. When don't these red hot brakes though?
It has the smallest DRS zone I've ever seen. You know where it is?
Is it before? Is it after turn 2?
No, it's after the middle sector where it goes downhill.
Oh, is it?
It goes downhill. Yeah, it's like 50 meters or something like that, and then it ends. on that hairpin to the right.
Oh, that
On
bit
the back.
really there. Wow.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
DRS zone.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Gotta love elimination. Who said that then? Brandon the
But
alien.
it's
Yep, definitely agreed. Brandon the alien.
but it's iRacing that does these well, DRS zones. I don't know where it is on this track. It should be the
There it
main
is.
straight
There it
and maybe
is.
that back.
There's the
Exactly,
board.
that's one. Yeah, and I think there's one on the back.
Yeah, would be one on the back as well. So here is the grid for race number 1 today. And Brandon did take pole, only just by about a 10th back to Marcelo. So hopefully Marcelo had a better time than he did last time out. Stefano had to start in the pit lane last week. He starts P3 today. Massimo in P4, Emil in P5, Stephen P6, Marco P7, other Marco P8, Andrea P9, Fran P10, Robert P11, that won the reverse grid last time, Alex P12, and as I will continue, P12, Jake P13, Dario P14, P15, Aiden, and Paulo P.
Interesting to see that this was the closest gap we got to the leader, to the Brandon P1. Even on Landmark Park, that is a shorter track, the gap was bigger than this.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see this.
Yeah, I fully agree with it. It could be a big question on how is it because people drive the circuit less, maybe. Could be the reason why they're closer. Let's see who gets the best start, though, shall we? Brandon starts on pole. Marcelo will be alongside him. It looks absolutely fantastic. Does the grid. Let's see how they go through the first couple of corners. Who gets a good start? Steve does. At the back slightly there. He's thinking about going through the middle of a few of them. He's going to get squeezed out there, but Brandon did get a good start as they go to turn 1. Marcelo actually will have the inside for turn 1. Outside for turn 2, though. Let's see if he can go through. They're all too wide, but everybody seems good as it's not the extremely close one. Marcelo's done the cutback. He's actually up the inside now of Brandon, but Brandon will have the inside for the next turn. Oh, he might have to go the long, long way around. It's good racing between the two of them. Brandon stays ahead for now, and I think he's just going to have to settle in as Marcelo, but he did give it a good try. There's a few movers further down. A few going off the road there as well. Not sure who's up ahead off the road, and Massimo was the car off the road. He's dropped a load of positions, which is unfortunate for him. He's dropped quite a few down the order. Not sure if he got forced off the road or what, but he's gone down into P8, and we'll come up in 4 minutes to see exactly how many positions he lost, as Robert's now up his inside. Robert's made a few positions on lap 1, side by side for chicane. Robert backs out and thinks a safer option is just to wait. The 3 no limits racing cars are just behind, with Aiden involved as well. As I say that, Alex Richardson has disappeared. He's just absolutely disappeared. He hasn't gone off the road or nothing. He's just must have disconnected, which is unfortunate. He was in front of the other two, I think, so that's unfortunate for Alex.
He was having some internet problems because I saw him disappear, then he appeared, then disappeared again. There he goes.
Oh, yes, he's back again, isn't he now? So yeah, Alex having some problems. He's actually off the road behind us, and he's being passed by his few teammates. So Alex having a few technical issues for himself, which isn't good, but I'm sure he's telling his teammates where exactly he is, as they're all going to try and go streaming past him. It was good racing between Brandon and Marcelo in that first lap to go side by side for a few corners. Now teammates here going side by side. Everybody survived the turn 1 this time, and no one locks the rear brakes. Oh, a little bit of a move further back. I'm not sure if Aiden gave a tap or not, but he's got past Dario anyway. Dario falls down a few positions as Andrea has passed a few cars, and that's Robert up the inside. Goes back past Andrea. Little door to door. See if anyone spoke about that. Brandon's been off the road. Brandon's off the road. He's dropping down at every position possible. He's down to last. I was wondering what the smoke was from. I didn't think it was from Brandon. Did he get a helping hand? Let's have a look.
I think it was multiple cars that actually was smoking, because I also thought it was someone in the middle that we were watching.
Oh, he's locked his rears.
Did it on himself, yeah.
A mistake from Brandon. Who would have believed it? Who would have said that at the beginning of the day? He's now got to come back through the whole field within 13 minutes. Slow down for Massimo maybe was a question mark, maybe. We'll have a look and see if I can see anything from Massimo on lap 1. But Brandon now at the back of the pack. I'll have a look and see what happened to Massimo on lap 1. What did happen to him? Did he get shoved off the road? He's just gonna understeer off, and that's why Massimo lost loads of positions. He literally just understeered off the road. So that's massively unfortunate for him. Brandon has already made up 1 place passing Paulio just behind. Karen says to go on to Steve. Steve up into P4 at the moment after a few incidents. He's just behind the middle. P4. Marcelo, after a horrible week last week, now leads race number 1. He would have been as shocked as anybody to see Brandon make a mistake now, but 2 teammates behind battling for second. Robert in the background there defending from Andrea for P7 now after the mistake from Brandon. So now it's a race of see how far Brandon needs to get within the top 8 to get any favour of the reverse grid now.
Yes, because usually he starts race 2 at 8th place. Now he can start in the first.
Yeah, what a turn of events that would be. He'd be so confused how that works. The first time it's worked in his favour, but he's got a few difficult cars to pass. He's got Marco and Dario just ahead of him, the 2 teammates. Is there another mistake from Brandon, or is he just going to go for the wide line? Maybe a wide line and a cut back underneath, but it's not going to be possible there. But it's given us a race and a half. Aiden just behind his teammates as well in front of Jake. It seems like Alex has sorted his connection out and is still in P9, so it's all good for him.
Probably the most exciting race Marcelo has ever had now.
Yes, compared
Because
to...
at least he doesn't have damage at least, so he can just keep pushing and get his places back. He didn't have to pit like on Long Beach, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is all on him now to see if he can do it in about 13 minutes. Yeah, 13 minutes, no, 12 minutes.
Aiden's got up the inside of his teammate Jake, which has caused chaos really, because Aiden's going through and he's being followed by Dario. And in all of this is his movement as that's defending from Aiden on Dario. They go to turn 1, they're going to touch him. Oh. There goes Aiden, bang into the wall. And it's blown his engine possibly as well, and he's out of race 1, and Dario ended up spinning round 2. Wonder if that's any damage there to him, maybe not. Brandon, because of that, has actually got past a couple of cars. He's still stuck behind Jake, but let's go have a little look at that one. Never heard of the commentator's curse. As well, we'll watch again, maybe in slow motion. Then Dario actually gets tagged by his teammate and spun around.
Still hard to know. It's hard to see who was at fault here. If Aiden did move to the right,
oh, that's difficult because they're.
It's the same time.
Yeah, they're both moving, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. Literally both are moving towards each other. So under investigation, but both the drivers will be annoyed with each other. But yeah, they were both moving towards the middle of the road, and Brandon has passed Jake into P11. But yeah, that's
3 places there.
Yeah, he got given a few, didn't he? He's only a couple off P8 now, but the front of the field, Marcelo's got a bit of a gap back to Stefano versus the mule, and then Steve in P4. He's got Marco and Massimo just behind. Just about halfway through the races. There's some defending there from Marco for P5. See what he would do into turn 1. We've just seen an incident before here in turn 1. We said this will be where we think there'll be some incidents. And Marco had a little bit of a moment on the brakes. Does it allow Massimo to try and get a run? No, it's very difficult to do. A lot more braking zones here than Long Beach, so more chances for a pass. Robert continuing to fight with Andrea. Had some good battles this season, has Robert, with some of the other drivers, including Marco and Andrea as well. He'll be having fun there in P7 at the moment. That means Andrea will be pole for race 2 as it stands. You never know. Might even let him through just to get the pole for race 2 like he did last week and follow on to take the win. And yeah, no further action or racing incident. They both were moving towards each other, so that's what the race controls deemed as well. How close is Andrea? Extremely close, and they've all both bounced off the curbs.
Was a racing incident because no one was at fault there. They both had the same idea to get a perfect line for the corner, but it ended badly. Yeah. Especially it ended badly for Aiden because he did break his in there.
Yeah, blew his engine straight up and put him straight out, which unfortunate for him, he would be quite annoyed with that. But yeah, he's still getting a tow now into the pit, so he'll probably come straight back out to try and get some points on the board for race number 1, as long as he completes, I think, like 80 or 90% of the race. So
80%. Yes.
80%. So if he goes 2 laps down, they reckon it would be a 10-lap race. So if he goes 2 down, it might be right on the cusp on it.
It should be.
Getting the points. Yeah, he's taken quite a long tow. Of course, it was at turn 1, so I think that's why Brandon does set the fast lap of the race. That's deep from Robert. That's what Andrea wanted. He's alongside. They're going to touch doors there. Yep, they do. To the point where Robert disappears. Andrea then gives him the room. And he will come across.
Yeah.
Lovely. And he defends. And he is through. Robert drops down to P8, where he probably wants to be fair. It's pole for race 2, but Andrea up to P7.
Nice, very nice to see that they still have some fights here. Middle of the race, so a lot can happen, but people really are keeping their gaps, but they're still battling with each other, you know? They're still like pairs of drivers with each other. Like as we see here, Brandon still catching up places. Can he do it already on this area? It's just a really hard track to, honestly, to overtake. You need to have the proper racing line from the exits.
Yeah, look at that defending.
Yeah, there you go. He's already defending, so it's to get an advantage of these curves because it's like right and left.
Right, left, massive curve as well on the right. So careful, Brandon. But he's done it. Round the outside he goes.
He's done it, yeah.
That is some good racing between Brandon and Ferran. Into P10, Brandon goes. That was good through the chicane. Nice room left by the both of them.
You never want to go too deep there because of the curves, exactly, or you know the grass. This track is it doesn't have that many forgiving runoffs as you might think. It's
No.
a proper racetrack.
Yeah, proper racetrack. Turn 1, a little bit of a runoff, but if you spin where everybody else has been, it's not. You're going to find the wall. To be fair. So
The only reason there's so much runoff is because of that.
Yeah, it's because that turn 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. But yeah, it's a lot of just grass and then massive wall, really, isn't it? So, and the grass is very slippery these days, so it's very easy to find the wall. It's not that far away. The gravel here, to be fair, quite a big gravel trap, but again,
Grass is sweet because it's winter, you know.
it's horrible.
I think they do model it in iRacing. They do model the humidity, don't they?
But yeah, that's true. They do. The ball is pretty close for P3 again, so the battle continues for second. Marcelo's kept the gap the same there, 1.3 now up ahead. He'd be happy to try and get some points back on the board after last time out. I don't know why the car isn't loading in the bottom right for their livery. Should load. Stefano's does, but Lemil's, which is the same, isn't loading, which is weird, but there you go. He sits behind him. I'll actually go on board with Stefano just to please my eye with the car logo anyway. Fast lap. Also considerably. So okay, Brandon's fast lap is considerably faster than a lot of the cars ahead of him, as he does just go up into P9, passing Alex round the second to last corner. Actually, he's got him there. That's intriguing to see how he's done that. Actually,
just needs one more position, but he's now 4 seconds behind the next car, just to get the pole position for the next race.
So that's Robert. He's got a long way to catch, and Robert will not give that one up. So it's the opposite of last time. It's out of the chicane, up the inside, a place where I didn't think there would be really any passes. But yeah, no, he's found one, and it's good between Alex and him, and into P9 he goes. But yeah, long way to catch up to the next car now as Stefano is being passed by Lemil for P2. So it's changed around then. Stefano now drops to P3. A change for second. Not sure how much.
Also, we have noticed that Aiden Young hasn't exited the pit, so he will not get any points.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's been there for 6 minutes now. Yeah, so no points for him, and he'll start back for the next one. Unfortunate for him. He's been doing well as of late, so that won't be too happy with the conclusion for this race, but it's pretty close here for P2. Well, really, maybe P3 as Stefano just being passed. He's got Steve and Marco behind him. They're ready to pounce with 3 minutes to go. So we're looking at about 2 more laps, not including this one. They come through. That curve is absolutely massive. I saw in practice they're all hitting it, and they really did get some air. So if somebody wants to hit it just once for maybe a photo, that would be fine, but I don't recommend doing it every lap. Through there goes Steve. Really may have to look in his mirrors a bit there, because Marco is looking racy for that P4. I think Stefano has given up on P2 yet. Also, just going to have to keep it clean. He's got a 2-second gap nearly now. He'd be happy with that. What's the gap for Brandon? 3.5 to close in about 2 laps. It's going to be a tough one to ask from him because Robert isn't a slow driver, so it's not going to be that easy to catch that gap.
This might be, I think this is the first race that Marcel's going to get a win. He's always been, you know, second best on most of the races, but on this one, he has the opportunity to win it finally.
Yeah, I think
so many tries.
His first win of the season, wasn't it? So, because Brandon's won, Dario's won, Damien's won, and Robert has won this season. So, yeah, Marcelo will be Marcelo's first one of the season. Got a few, of course, last season when he was fighting Brandon for the title. But, yeah, this season, not been the best for him. So, especially after last week, he'll be very happy with this result.
Definitely, Brandon has upped his game this season by a lot.
Yes,
Season. Really dominating. But even him can do mistakes, as you can see him at, after that turn 3 incident where you just spun him on himself. But now he's actually 2 seconds catch P8.
Gonna go on the last lap this time because they're not gonna have enough time to get another. So this will be the last one for everybody. I don't think he'll be able to close that gap in. Marcelo's just got one more to go. Top 3 looking a little racier. Stefano, he wants that P2 back. Oh, look at that. Who's that? Massimo absolutely sideways through turn 1. That was lovely. Well held. But here we go. It's a bit racy for P2. Will he have a look? Doesn't have a look into turn 3. Dale has won. Robert's still in P8. Looks like he should be safe to stay there. He'll get pole again for the second week in the row for the reverse grid. That means Brandon will have to start from P9, and that is actually his lowest starting position probably ever. I might add.
Yeah, exactly. Usually he only starts 8th.
Yes, normally it's only 8. I said last week we should change it to top 10, and now he's starting for P9. So let's see how well he goes from there, shall we? Let's see if that would work. Oh, that's a little
position for him.
That was a little cut there from Stefano, but I'm not sure what the rules are on it. I think doesn't look like he's got to slow down, so he'll be fine. Maybe left some in the tank for the last couple of laps. Marco just trying to get in Steve's mirrors there behind for P4. Not able to be close enough. They're quite close for P4. Maybe he might have a run the last couple of corners. But Steve now really having to look in his mirrors. Like a good stopping speed, closing speed. He's just behind. There's a battle for P11 happening as well. They come around the last turn. Marcelo will win for the first time this season after a horrible last week. He's managed to win. Race on today. Lemille will take second. Stefano does take P3. Steve continues to say P4. Stefan gets a little tap. Gets a little tap from Marco there for P11, but Brand will stay there and does just about get P11. Brandon gets P8, P9, meaning pole for race 2 will go the way of Robert.
And putting a fastest lap just for good measure.
Yeah, he was trying. You can't say he wasn't trying.
Yeah. Sadly, it wasn't enough of a race time for him to pass. But also because the cars ahead of him had really good pace on this track compared to other tracks where Brandon was a lot more dominating. So it's nice to see that there's a more balanced gap between everyone here.
Yeah, it's good to see, isn't it, when it happens like that? You can. Oh, hello, Biggles. I've just had a notice that you've popped up there in the.
I've snuck in.
You snuck in, hello. You snuck into the commentary box.
Wait, you're not part of this season, this series.
I'm just hanging out there. Go through those results for us, there, guys, please. Sorry.
Yeah, Marcelo then taking his first win of the season by 2.2 after a mistake from Brandon. Of course, they're in the little warm-up session they've got now. Lemille takes P2. Stefano finishing in third. Steve takes P4. Another good result. Marco just behind him, P5. Massimo, P6. P7 for Andre. And P8 for Robert, which means pole for race number 2. And behind him is Brandon, which is going to have biggest fight he's had all season to come back from P9, try and get a win today. Not his normal position, I must admit. Normally he's P8 in race 2, but P9 for today. Be a bit weird. Alex takes P10 and Ferran in P11. We now head to race number 2. Should be a good one with the reverse grid. Top 8 reversed, of course. How is this going to go? Robert started on pole last time out in the reverse grid. Went on to win. Can he do it again?
Which track did he win? It was Lime Rock.
Lime Rock, yeah, Lime Rock. So let's see if he can do it again then.
Oh, yes.
2 weeks in a row.
2 wins straight.
Yeah. He'd be happy with that if he can. He was very happy to get the win last time, but some fast charging cars will be after him. Brandon's not actually gone on. He's with the car we're waiting for. There he is now. He's now on the grid. Investigated after race 2. So there is one crash will be investigated. after this race. But here we go then. Reverse grid time. Who gets the best start? I don't think there's actually anyone in an Audi. There is actually. Andre's in an Audi. He will get a fantastic start and he will lead going into turn 1 because of it. Absolutely brilliant start from the Audi as always. And into the lead he goes ahead of Robert. That's what he's going to want. How close is it behind? Cars everywhere, side by side. Someone's spinning in the background. Oh, actually spinning in front of us too. And that's Marco. I think he's gone round. Has everybody avoided him? I think they may have just. Marco B is the one that spun. I'm not sure if he's had a helping hand, but he's dropped all the way down to 16th. Movement further back. Steve getting crowded out, I think. Everybody's just about going single file. Got teammates just behind, side by side. Roberts off the road. We saw Massimo do it last race. Roberts off and back on. He's dropped down to 3rd now.
Brendan already got 4 positions in this.
And he's up to 5th. I don't know how he's managed that. Marcelo's following him, to be fair, somewhat. Marcelo up to P6, so Steve had a mistake there as well. He's dropped down to P15 further back. So it was car 31 and 11 that had a tangle, which is Marco and Steve. So they're the ones who have had a tangle. They're both now down in 15th and 16th. Probably in turn 2 it would be the situation that they've clashed through the first chicane. As in the background, Aiden Young trying to pass, I think, is his teammate Ferran for P10. Let's have a look. Is he side by side still? No, he's sort of backing out. Behind is Paulo and a few others. I think it's Jake being passed by Marco. Happening just there. They're door to door. A little bit of contact between the two of them. I think Jake might have it into the next turn, and he does. So that's what's happened there. How are they doing up the front? It's Andrea with the brilliant start in the Audi. Takes the lead. Robert not having the same luck he did last week. He's down to 3rd with Massimo looking at the back of Andrea already. He's looked quick today. Brandon stuck behind Stefano, which had a good start as well. We've got some good racing that should happen within these 15 minutes. It's going to be a tough one, and Steve has gone into the pit lane with some damage, so that might be from the turn 2 incident with Marco, but into the pits he goes, and he had a good race 1 in P4, but race 2 hasn't gone his way. How it goes sometimes. It's extremely close in the top lot, though. Who's going to look to pass whom? Roberts or one looking at the back of Massimo now. Changing every corner, but as you can see, the whole grid's really still in a long train. Make one mistake, you'll be out of the top 10 easily. And Steve Wood apparently has crashed even though he's in the pit, so that's him actually just coming out of the pit, so maybe it's a very slow pit exit somewhere. Look at that long train there of cars flying through the chicane. Who's going to make a move? Who's going to make a mistake is the question. A little bit wide there in P4. That's ahead of Brandon Stefano. Robert has a look. Surely it's only a look. It is only a look in the end. Not able to do anything as Aiden has gone up P10 further back. Now, what do you do here? There's 15 minutes, so you've got 12 minutes to go. Do you make your move now, or do you wait a little bit and see what happens ahead of you?
First, you need to study the car ahead of you to know where you are better than them. You shouldn't just go ahead and try to overtake it on every spot that you see. You need to see where you get the advantage, which corners, and then you mark in your head when the best opportunity to do it. He's still studying, you know, but he still needs to do it quick before Brandon comes in along. You see him, the bike is already going.
Oh, it's deep.
A bit first. There he goes. That's exactly what he did. He was patient. He watched the opportunity, and then he got away with him.
Well, something's happened to Marcelo. Marcelo's got a slow down or something in the background. He's having to slow right down and let about 5 cars through. And deep again goes another car. That's Stefano this time. So Robert up to P2 because who went deep? Massimo went deeper now. Brandon not able to get past. Stefano has to wait and stay there in P5. So unfortunately, Marcelo drops to P9 after. I mean, well, we saw him slow down on his own, but it looks like he was maybe he cut track in turns 1 and 2. So I thought maybe he had a pedal issue, but the only thing I can think of quickly is he definitely had a slowdown from maybe the first couple of corner chicane. A little bit of a moment there. The car 5.16 in front of Brandon. That's going to give him an invitation to go through. Oh, he's nearly pushing him down the straight. Does he have a little look? He doesn't have a look. What a long straight this going into the next chicane as Ogo hit brakes. Nicely through. No one.
So close, but yes, it's still not enough.
A bit of net code there as well too. As Paulo says, pay attention in school and study. I think you're absolutely right on that one. Paulo, just study your opponent and then look for a mistake and then seize on that opportunity immediately.
Exactly.
11 minutes to go. Not that many laps on this circuit. Got to be careful. leader actually sets the fast lap of the race. He's trying to leave everyone behind. The train is now behind Robert for P2. What the leader wants. This first couple of corners, very difficult on the brakes, very hard, and this is where the mistakes will be. Brandon looking at the back, not able to go through. There was a mistake, I think, apparently from Alex, was now dropped down to P9. I think even further, so Alex has had a spin round. He's just got back going now in P12. Did Brandon have a run there? Yes, he does. That's a run and a half on Stefano. But that's the outside. Well, it's the inside for this next corner, but it's the outside for the long one.
It should be enough if you can just keep it and be more brave on the brakes.
Oh, Robert.
But he's gonna...
Robert made a mistake. He's dropped back down to P3. Careful, Brandon. When you feed back in, there's another car behind you. Oh, he's got a good undercut. He's got an undercut on him. He's got the inside for the chicane now. Is he through? It's the curbs.
Ooh.
I'm going to say he is in the P4.
He did, yeah. I figured if he used too much curve, the car would just jump and or even break something. But nope, he still maintained the position.
So the feature race, we sorry, I might be a little bit loud in your ears or not, but because just turned myself up here at the moment. But here we go, 5 minutes and 10 minutes remaining and change. And, the battle is resuming a little bit further back. I'd have to say from Brandon. See, there's
a mistake there. I think Stefano went. I think they all went a little deep. I think Stefano went deep and maybe Brandon did. It's chopped up a little bit here now in the first couple of cars. They were very, very tight a minute ago, but look, there's gaps now forming between all of them as they've all made slight errors here and there. But P2 has just set the fast lap of the race. Brandon now has got a bit of clear air in P4. Yeah, as you said, teammates just behind, line and stern. And Marcelo's just behind him, but behind all of them. So yeah, there's a lot going on there within that lap, but mistakes are happening, and that is where the crucial part of the race is going to be. Who makes the least amount? As we saw Brandon make one in race 1, which has forced him in this position, but Andrea there hasn't won yet this season, leading the way now with a 1.2 gap. He's going to hope that the cars of Robert and Massimo can keep Brandon at bay, just like last week where Robert was trying to run away with the victory and hope that everybody else could keep Brandon at bay as well. He got to him in the last lap, didn't he? Yeah. It was a bit close, but let's see if Brandon can make any more headway.
Yeah. Paulo, if you're leading a race and you haven't won a race all season, how is that going through your adrenaline? How is that going through your mind right now as race driving, saying, hey, this could be mine. This could be the first time I get this one?
You shouldn't think like that because that causes more mistakes.
Okay, so just ignore that P1 next to your name and just go for it. Just ignore it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You shouldn't maybe you can push it a bit more, just to keep it ahead, but you shouldn't just think of the position that you are in. Just keep focusing on your laps. Keep doing what you're doing, and the consistency has to be there. Otherwise,
he doesn't have to worry about that Canadian driver on the back of the Dutch driver battling for P3.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Brandon.
Robert, it's a different scenario because he did lose a pole position that he had from finishing P8 on the previous race. As you can see here, it's already going to be a move.
Oh, it's close. It's now on the brakes for this one. Robert's got it stopped nicely. To be fair, I thought Brandon might have it. But Robert doing well on the brakes.
Yeah. It's a long first corner, so it's a bit hard to stay out on the outside and still get the position. But look, it could still happen on his one.
Barcelo's pitted. Don't know what's happened to Barcelo. He won race 1, but he's in the pits now. I think
he had enough. He's already won the race, so he's very happy now.
Yeah, he's not going to be too happy after that. He's actually entered the pit himself, so he's actually driven into the pits. So that's unfortunate for him. His day's gone from great to bad, but yeah, he's dropped down to P16, but he has got a win so far. It's a very mixed week again for him, but at least he has a highlight, unlike last week where he didn't have any highlights. Now, it's all for third here.
He's out, so I think he's back on track.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did seem like he had to slow down, so maybe more stuff happened during that time. Who knows?
He must maybe hit the curb too hard. These curbs are huge. Maybe, just like last week, actually, hit the curb, didn't he? Too hard, and it caused some damage on his car. Brandon is looking everywhere.
He's sizing him up big time here now. Check this out. Paul, he's got to commit. He's definitely committing, and he says, I want this position. And obviously Robert say, not on my watch. And this is great battling. And there's a report there of an incident between 709 and the 9 car. But the battle at the moment is for P3, and it's on your pitches.
Yeah, Brandon's got to find the inside soon because he is absolutely... Robert defends, but he's defended the middle. He's left the gap. Brandon thinks, goes back to the racing line. This is exactly how they were racing last week. He wants to get a better run out of turn 2.
It was exactly the same move, but it happened on Brandon just going straight to the grass. At least now he had enough off track to stay on the tarmac this time.
Yeah, but it's good racing for P3. It is helping the leader. They're running away. The top two have got a gap. And if they get any more of a gap, you would say that Brandon's not going to be able to close that in time. Actually, the gap for the lead has closed.
This one.
Two little left kinks.
Like, if he at least got past Robert, then he could have a good chance of getting even P1. But if Robert is not now giving up, he wants that position. It doesn't matter if Brandon is the championship. He's going to keep it.
Well, Robert's got to do defensive like crazy because he's got a chain of cars behind him. How are you feeling if you're in Robert's place there, Paul? What are you just going defending? You can see he's going off the racing line there, trying to force him around the outside. It's getting frustrating. You can tell at the moment that the Canadian driver is getting very frustrated. He wants to get past because he knows he's got a chain of cars behind him. If he doesn't soon, it's going through that driver's mind.
There's two ways of doing this. Either you defend hard just to keep your position, but then you get risk of getting passed by more cars afterwards, or you just let the faster car pass and you get his slipstream, and you avoid being too close to the cars behind him. And I guess Robert is choosing the first one, which is just, I'm staying in this position no matter what.
Yeah. He's going to see this through. He defended from him last week, and he's defending from him again, and he's doing a very good job. Yeah, other cars are getting involved here. They're touching. He's pushing him through turn 2. It's getting touring cars racing here. Immediately on the defense. That's what you got to love. Every time out of a corner, he's on the defensive immediately. Can Brandon go the long way? That's going to be a no, but it's going to be a good exit. And that's what he needs. He's alongside now, just about. He's actually not fully, but he's there. Room's being given, but he's not alongside and he's not through. Robert's doing a great job defending.
Certainly is. And, Brandon is still at the same time studying where he can do the best overtakes on Robert. But it seems that Robert still can keep a good pace ahead of him and being on the right exact spot for him to not just pass.
Not having to defend.
You'd have to say to Robert right now, just rip the mirrors off, right? Don't even look behind. Just focus forward. You can't be focused on the guy in your mirrors. You can't mirror race. You've got to be going forward.
That's definitely what he's doing. He's definitely not looking forward. I'd be surprised how much he's actually not looking forward. And again, Brandon has a look, tries to make him jump, but Robert's not having any of it. He's just driving his race and defending where he needs to.
Meanwhile, Wes, the battle for P1 is now resuming because now... I can't read the names, unfortunately. It's a little bit scratchy-ratchy because I'm downloading everything. But that is brewing up for the Italians.
Yeah, Andrea and Massimo. Neither one of them has won this season, so they're going to want one. And they're pretty close, and it could get a bit racy between those two. They have got a gap if they do start racing. They've got a good bit of time behind, as Robert's doing a great job defending for them. So
that was really close to getting a win in Long Beach, if you remember race 2.
Yes.
It was less than a second. So
yes.
Maybe this time it goes on his favor.
That's it. This could be the run, surely. Is it not? No. Good straight line speed from Robert. Keeps Brandon at bay. But it's insanely close. He can't keep this up for the rest of the race, can he?
He's got to be really careful of those Italian drivers behind him as well, too. I think they're going to be ready to sneak one up the inside if anybody makes a mistake here right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's how close that battle is for P3.
They are definitely preparing themselves for an opportunity. Interesting to see that Robert, we saw him doing a couple of mistakes on this race, but now that he sees the danger, he's now putting everything together.
It's brilliant. He's literally getting pushed down the straight here. Look at that, pushing him all the way to the braking zone. Oh, he's done it. He's there. He's found it. He's found the room, but he's not got it through. Oh, here we go. They're going to attack, are they? Stefano thinks about it, trying to get involved. That's the issue Brandon's got. If he attacks too hard, he's got two cars absolutely waiting to pass him behind. And they won't wait. They will go straight for the move. They're on to the final lap. One more to go. Can Robert keep him behind? The battle for the lead is now 2 tenths. I think Andrea's just got it, but the battle for third is the one that's insanely close. Again, last time into turn 1. Does Robert keep it all under control? It looks like he does. He's going to get pushed through turn 2 by Brandon the entire way through. The battle for the lead, 2 tenths, but it looks like Andrea's just got it. Look at that fending there. Brandon's literally can't find a way. He's pushing him on the grass. He's through. He's round the outside of him. Side by side, door to door. He was through for a couple of seconds. He's got a little wide. He stays in P4. The battle for the lead is now down to a 10th. They're pretty close as well.
Can we extend this race for another 10 minutes, please? Race control?
Yeah.
Because this is it's still brewing. And unfortunately, you're on the last lap of this race.
Last lap, then everyone's going to run out of time, basically. All the cars behind Robert are going to be annoyed that they ran out of time because they've been trying their hardest, but it's brilliant. That's what you got to love. The short races, you haven't got long to make the move, so you got to make it when you've got the chance. And Brandon's been close several times. He has a little look there. Robert's driving in the middle of the road. All he's got to do is hit his braking points and not worry too much. He's done good enough for 15 minutes. Can he do it for another couple of corners? He's not left the gap open. Brandon's going to be loving this. One more turn. Brandon's got the run. No, they're all there. Stefan's at the back out. Roberts, they've touched. That's it. Right on the last corner. Andrea wins.
Oh.
And Roberts all the way in the gravel, nearly into the wall. It's going to be Brandon for P3. And where does Robert fall to? P8 in the end. It nearly lasted. It all came down to the last corner. As expected.
Oh, yeah.
Andrea.
That's gut-wrenching, isn't it? You'd have to know there, Paul. If you're battling side by side with somebody and then all of a sudden, they're a tap, you're a couple of corners away from the checkered flag, a couple of corners from decent positions, and bang, all of a sudden, that risk it for the biscuit didn't taste too nice.
Yeah, it's a bit of a first to pass the cars ahead of you, but some people just don't want to stay in the position that they are. They don't have it. They just want to get every opportunity. It sucks for the car ahead. It sucks for the car ahead that he did nothing wrong.
Oh, it's the tiniest of touch, isn't it?
It is the tiniest
Yeah,
of
but
touches.
I don't think that was opportunity for Brandon to overtake that. It just wasn't.
That's
He just went too aggressive for a position that he didn't need to do that. He was already securing the championship anyway. While Robert, just wanted the extra points that he could get. It's unfortunate.
I'll do it again, but I'll go on board with Brandon here.
I just managed to download the cars in the track just as this race finished, but then again, I'll have it for another time. Yeah, let's have a look at the onboard. Sometimes that could even be netcode, isn't it? But it does look like it's legitimate contact there. Most drivers could tell you whether or not it was or wasn't. Stewards were already crazy in this race already, as you saw a lot of those reports were thrown up at the top of the screen. But this is it, yeah. Once again,
I think
this is one for the stewarding team.
I think it has gone the way of 10 seconds to Brandon, I think, is how it's gone.
Yeah, you just need to be a bit nicer to the other cars, You don't need to just be as aggressive. And we've even seen Brandon usually be a bit safe, but I think he was pissed from Lime Rock Park where he saw also Robert stay ahead of him for so long. I think Brandon was just tired to seeing orange.
There's your results, Wes. But you have to say the number 3 machine, that's Andrea's first win, I believe, as you said before earlier.
Absolutely, yeah. Andrea takes his first. So we got two today. 2 first-time winners. Robert won last time out, but Marcelo took race 1, which is the first time this season he's won, and now Andrea takes race 2. So how about that? A different circuit, new circuit, and 2 new winners. So that's got to be a plus for both of them. And only just as well, Massimo. A 10th back, but yeah, Brandon looks like he's got 10-second penalty. So here, drop off the 3rd place position. So Stefano will take P3. So that's 2 podiums, I believe, in a row for him. So he'll be happy there. So I think with 10 seconds on Brandon, he'd fall quite far down, all the way to I think P10 there. So he'd end up back behind Robert. But yeah, Robert, unfortunate, was on cue for a podium. Would have been good for him. But yeah, really good racing, to be fair, until maybe the last turn. Even then, you could say it was close. It was all brewing for quite a while. You must admit, over 10 minutes worth of pushing and shoving. You were not surprised that eventually it came to head. But yeah, it was close racing, close, hard fought, which you've got to love. And I can't wait to do it again next week. And next week it's at another great circuit for touring car racing, which is Brands. I want to say it's Brands Hatch. Before I do, it is the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, which is always fantastic for touring car racing and hosts some major big racing for touring cars. So I can't wait.
Should be in Formula 1 as well, too, mate. It's better than Silverstone, but we won't go there.
Well, yeah, you could argue this case would be very fast lap time as well. But then again, they do go with the Red Bull ring, crying out loud. So I'm sure I don't see why not. But yeah, brilliant racing as always here from the touring cars.
I think there's bigger problems like how wide the track is, but okay.
It's well, we've had
Look, it
three wives.
was one of those classic tracks, wasn't it? It was back in the day, basically, very early before Formula One was even making its way around some of those tracks. And yeah, but Brands Hatch with the elevation change is just amazing.
It is a fun track, and especially the touring cars, it does fit really well.
Yeah, it fits perfect. I can't wait. Of course, I'm jealous because it's basically one of my local circuits, so that's why I always show it on the calendar. I might not next season just because people have noticed. But yeah, brilliant racing today. So well done to Oschersleben and every all the drivers. It was brilliant. Slightly smaller field than normal. I say that it's only 5 cars less, I think, than normal. But even then, the racing was fantastic and it was extremely close. And I hope everyone enjoyed. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Paulo, for being here as always. Biggles, thank you for joining and watching race number 2. And I hope you enjoyed your highlights of touring car racing rather than just the IMSA series. You can see why I prefer touring car racing. Quite close, isn't it?
Bumping and grinding is touring car, my friend. Absolutely. Because you can, the beasts have a little bit more armor on them, and you've got to bully your way in there. We don't like bullies, but you got to bully when it comes to touring car. You're absolutely right, Wes, and thank you very much for allowing me in to watch the rest of that second round there. There's the expertise there from Paulo Lopez. Of course, if you haven't seen him on track in any store racing, well, you haven't been watching any store racing at all. We'll be seeing you, of course, in the IMSA series and so forth there this week coming up, Paulo.
No, I'm not going to participate. No.
Okay, fine. Either way, we'll see you somewhere along the line.
Thursday is Red Bull Ring, so everyone is here that's going to watch it. Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, Red Bull Ring. That should be good. Should be good. Can't wait to see that one on Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because 56% of you that come and watch haven't. So the 56% of you, I'm talking to you.
And they haven't hit the thumbs up, aren't they?
Oh, they've got to do that.
I'm about to hit right now.
There we go. Biggles did it. You do it. I'll do it later too. Right.
I'll do it as well.
There you go. Look at this. Starting a nice trend. Everybody watching should do it. Andy in the race control. Don't forget you got to do it too. I'll notice if you don't. Right then. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week for round number 7 at Brands Hatch.